Politically Incorrect. News Radio, Stoll Hartman. Humorist, Markoe. Internet maven, Jerry Yang. And computer skeptic, Clifford Stoll. And now, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And I guess you heard the big news. You heard what happened to President Clinton. He fell down and went boom. Yes, he was in the hospital today. He had an operation. Apparently he was in Florida at about 1:30 in the morning, tripped down a flight of stairs, and had to have surgery today. They didn't put him out completely. They gave him what they call an epidural. No, I don't know what's funny about that. They gave him an epidural, which numbs you from the waist down, which was not for the knee, just so that he wouldn't get fresh with the nurses. That was the whole... That was kidding. And, you know, bad things like that always happen in pairs. Another terrible thing yesterday, Bob Dole, also in the hospital, he cracked a smile. And just... well, it's not that even being in the hospital buys the president any sympathy, because yesterday, Attorney General Janet Reno got letters from the House and the Senate Republicans requesting that she appoint an independent counsel to look into these campaign finance shenanigans. She also got a call from Pete Rose asking, who cuts your hair? Now, there's a big trade embargo brouhaha going on up in Canada because, you know, Walmart is up there, and Walmart has been selling Cuban pajamas. Ooh. But we have a big embargo. We don't want them to sell to anybody, and they have been thumbing our nose. And then in real defiance of American tradition, they have been keeping more than one register open. So we are... and finally, big news, this is really, from Calcutta, India. Mother Teresa, you know, Mother Teresa has been ailing lately, and she finally gave up her control over the missionaries of charity. But she will retain control over numbers and prostitution. Anyway, thanks for coming. It's all been satirized for your perception. Welcome to the show. Let's meet our panel. First, he is a best-selling author, astronomer, and computer security expert. His new book is Silicone Snake Oil. Clifford Stoll, right over here. Hey, Clifford.
It's a tickled to meet you. Oh, thank you.
They're right down there. All righty. Every day, 750,000 people use the search engine he invented to surf the net. The co-creator of Yahoo, Jerry Yang. Hey, Jerry, nice to meet you. She is an Emmy-winning humorist and author of the new book, Markoe's Guide to Love. Markoe. Hi, cutie. How you doing?
Good.
And finally, he served 8 years on Saturday Night Live. Now he stars on News Radio and in the HBO original movie, The Second Civil War, Phil Hartman. Phil? All right, well, listen, I want to talk about the net tonight, as the kids say, Phil, and I noticed you dress like them.
On the way over here, I was suit jacked, Bill. This is Hollywood.
Suit jacked. But But first, let's talk about this TWA 800 flight mess, because that's where the information is that Pierre Salinger has, that he says he's getting that the plane was shot down by a missile. And I'm wondering if anyone is buying this, because it has gotten a lot of press lately. It's also a big story this month in Paris Match. The magazine is running an article about that. And, you know, our government has covered up a lot of stuff. The Kennedy assassination, we didn't know about that for years. The aliens down in...
I thought we found out about it in the first few minutes after he was assassinated. Did it take a long time before they told anyone?
Which brings to mind the fact, of course, that Pierre Salinger was his press secretary, and he's the one who convinced us that Kennedy was a family man.
Right, that's true. Salinger says he never knew Kennedy cheated.
So he's observant. We know that about him.
He thought Marilyn Monroe was there for a security briefing. But the government doesn't really have very good credibility with us. I mean, and what Pierre Salinger is saying is that the plane was shot down by one of our missiles because the Navy does tests in that area, and that he has proof and pictures that they shot down this plane. And what?
Well, you know, I think it certainly is possible. I mean, but I think that we've all come to believe that everything is possible, haven't we? I mean, it's like the X-filing of America is what's going on anymore. Everything going on in America right now is that Richard Pryor punchline, who are you going to believe, me or your lion eyes? Right? I mean, that's how we got the Bruno Mali photograph in the O.J. trial, where he's wearing shoes, and people are saying, well, is that you in the shoes? And he says no, and then we're thinking, well, maybe they morphed the shoes onto him. I mean, it's like, there's always, you know, some other explanation possible, and really could be, too. I mean, half the time it turns out it's true.
You're right.
If you hear a herd of animals rumbling across, it's the first thing to think of might be horses rather than zebras. And I get the feeling that Pierre Salinger said, "Oh, I heard the flip flop of some hoofbeats. Got to be a bunch of zebras coming by."
Dude, if you're trying to start a dance craze, I am down for it. No, you know what? Why are they blaming the U.S. Navy? I mean, the first thing that popped into my head is there could be, you know, 3 Iraqis out in a Chris-craft. You can put a surface-to-air missile in a suitcase. Who's to say they aren't sitting out there looking for bluefish and go, hello! You know, why does it have to be the Navy's fault? I'm not saying it's not.
Because if it was a terrorist group, they would probably take credit for it. Whereas if it was our own Navy, they probably wouldn't want to take credit.
That's true.
You know,
and anyway, I don't think Iraqis are that big on bluefish, are they? I mean, I've never been to...
But do you know that in the last 20 years, there have been 25 commercial airliners that have been shot down by missiles? No, I guess you didn't.
You know, there was that other piece of evidence in the article that I read that they found some kind of a reddish-orange substance on the seats in the front, which, of course, right off the bat makes me think it's got to be that French dressing in the little envelope. They're just not looking at the obvious.
Yes. Okay. Well, I can't believe that you don't subscribe to this nutty theory, but since I can't get a compatriot...
Well, I think Americans, in general, love a conspiracy theory. I mean, as you said, it's...
You betcha.
Whenever we can blame it on the government, it's always a better story that way. So I think that...
But the government doesn't have very good credibility.
Well, it's
I mean, they covered up so many things. I mean, we didn't know George Bush was a woman for many years. Okay, well, we're going to...
It's the whole Jekyll and Hyde approach to everything anymore. I mean, the minute a politician gets elected, we go looking for, now, who is he really? And then we find out he's someone else. I mean, it's always the case.
Okay. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I do want to talk about the Internet.
If you're planning to be in the Los Angeles area and would like free tickets to Politically Incorrect, call 213-852-2655.
Okay, as I mentioned, now this TWA information came over the Internet, and I want to talk about that because I feel like I'm one of the last people, or they make me feel like I'm one of the last people to, as the kids say, jack into the net. And by the way, at summer camp I used to jack into the net. There was a very different.
We won't go there. Let's not go down that road.
Yeah, but I mean, I have my problems with this, but I will.
That was a long time ago.
You will, but you have been made very wealthy from this, right?
Yes.
Well, go ahead, defend it.
Defend with the net?
Well, let me tell you some of my problems with it. One, it's isolating. You know, we used to have, you'd go have a library card. You go to the library, you meet a librarian.
Yeah, but you don't think of it this way, like conspiracy theorists that we were talking about before. I mean, they don't want to go to the library. They can all connect now in the internet. I mean, they can sit and huddle in their little corners and talk to each other across the country.
What would you rather do? Type on a computer and stick your head into cyberspace, or meet somebody and maybe not meet.
Brush up on the old guide to live before you.
Are these my only two choices?
Yeah. I think the internet has been largely misunderstood from people who think that the technology is going to take over and you're going to become these bots that all you're going to do is sit in front of computers. I think if the internet or technology can't help you so you can go out and meet people and enjoy the sunshine, then we're not doing.
How does it help you meet people?
For one thing, it definitely makes your life more productive. Right? I can do a lot more things now that I used to do.
I believe that, yes. Right.
I order my movie tickets online instead of sitting in line waiting. Maybe I meet people sitting in line waiting.
But then when you get to the theater, you still have to wait in line.
No, I go to the will call window and I pick it up.
That making your life more easy reminds me of when home shopping started, and they had the slogan on the Home Shopping Network, make shopping easier. And I soon thought to myself, yeah, easier if what you wanted was to buy a ceramic figurine of Little Bo Peep. Then it's suddenly much easier.
Making my life more productive. I've been online for years, and what I've noticed is every hour that the internet saves me is taken away by an hour of frustration or an hour's download. It's astonishing how much it steals from me. Instead of
I don't think the internet. I mean, I don't think the internet today is the panacea for to solve everybody's problems.
But that's how it's promoted.
Well, who's promoting it?
The wonderful computer gurus are telling us that you have to be online.
I for one, certainly, we think that we exist because there are so many problems with technology. I think technology is not in itself going to solve people's problems. We have to solve real problems for real people before using technology as tools.
But it's very narcissistic, isn't it?
Narcissistic what?
It's narcissistic people have these home pages. Have you seen these home pages, Phil?
But what's wrong with expressing yourself in a way that is...
Who cares about seeing the picture of somebody's dog and how they spent their summer vacation?
No, but see, not everybody...
It's the ultimate me decade.
Yeah, but
not only that, but it takes like 45 minutes for me to come up. You have to sit there and wait for me and a smiling photo for 45 minutes. You get a magazine photo.
Because your picture is too high quality.
Are you jacked into the net?
I'm not jacked into the net. I have 3 computers, and the last thing I need is another computer addiction. I am in a missed recovery group now. It takes over people's lives.
Yeah, I think so.
Get out, throw a frisbee for crying out loud.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back to this one.